Hello everybody, my name's Nate. I'm in IT and we're just going to go over a little problem transaction that we've been having. The check cashing procedure, most everybody knows is the RGKC. I just wanted to give a little perspective from the IT department rather than the learning and development department. Originally I was going to use a program called Aduto to make this a little more fun and interesting. Unfortunately, my computer had some charter issues over the last week or so and wasn't able to use the internet, and that's an online instructional program. So we went back to good old classic PowerPoint, and I'll try to make it as least boring as possible for you. Alright, so first up, let's just go over check cashing a little bit here. It's a pretty simple transaction that you guys are going to run multiple times a day. That being said, monotony can cause complacency, and that's where we're finding the errors are coming in. Since I've joined IT, I was a teller beforehand. I've had this come up multiple times, so we've streamlined it as much as possible to make it as easy for you guys as possible. So I guess the main thing would be to just take your time, be sure to read each heading on a new screen. I know more than anybody else in IT that you guys are busy, so just take a breath, read it, and make sure you follow procedure. So we start the procedure. It's just the RGKC string that you guys are all familiar with. The RG stands for RepGen. It's more of an IT term that we use. Basically, it just pulls open a spec file to allow viewing of check cashing history. The KC obviously is the check cache part of the string, and it'll allow you to continue and process checks through your scanner. This slide here has a picture of what you will see in Epicus, the transaction code line where you'll put your string. This is just an account that I pulled up so you guys could have an image. As you can see, the RGKC is down there in the transaction code. So, starting the transaction, the RG, as we mentioned before, stands for RepGen. It's going to open the spec file that'll show you previously cashed checks for the account that you're in. In this box, it'll come up and it'll say spec file name. All we need you to do is press 0 and then enter. The problem that we've been having is people pressing enter without entering 0 first. This is the key step in the whole process. This is where everybody's having the problems. Like it says here, simply pressing enter and skipping this step is where our problems arise. This causes issues with risk. You will skip over the spec file. You won't see previous cash checks, and you won't get to see things such as branch hopping, check kiting, that sort of thing. We need you to press 0 and not just click through it. I know you guys are busy and I know you're in a hurry. Please, please press 0. Here's just a picture of that box I was telling you about, the spec file name. Unfortunately, in the screenshot that I grabbed, I didn't press 0. That's my fault. You would put a 0 there. As you can see in the red writing, spec file name equals 0. In that box, in this part of the step, we need you to put 0 and then enter. If you just press enter, it's going to skip the whole process, and you just skipped the major step in the whole procedure. Once you press 0 and enter in the spec file name box, the RG part of the process is complete. This is where the spec file will open, and you'll get to see a list of all the previously cashed checks. So this slide here, just a picture again of Epicus, what that spec file opening up will look like. It says no transactions found, press enter key to continue. This one, just the account that I was on didn't have any cash checks, but usually there will be a whole list of checks that this account has cashed in the past. Once you've looked over the check history and verify that there's no check kiting or branch hopping or anything funky going on, you can move on to the rest of the process. And as you guys are all familiar, the KC part of it is just the running of the checks through your check scanner, something you guys do probably tens, hundreds of times a day. So we won't go into that. So like I said at the beginning, I'm in IT now, but I was a teller for 3 years before that, so I understand all of your guys' worries. I just wanted to give a couple of the questions and concerns that have been brought to us in IT. Why can't the spec file name automatically populate with 0? It's a very good question. The problem is that the RG procedure opens any spec file name. This procedure, check caching, is not the only procedure that uses the RG string, so there are multiple other spec files that you can open with that field, so we can't automatically populate it with one name over the other. Can we make it so you cannot proceed without entering something in the spec file name box? Unfortunately, the coding for Epicys is owned by a company called Jack Henry. And unfortunately at this time we're not allowed to make changes to that core programming of their Epicys program. Are there going to be any changes, improvements to the procedure? Absolutely. This is one of the main projects that I'm working on right now. What we're looking to do is something kind of like a last reminder. When that spec file name box opens after you've done the RG string, we are looking at adding a pop-up box with a warning, something along the lines of, please ensure you enter 0 to get into the cache checking or check caching history. Like I said in the previous one, we can't change the core programming so much. We can add little things like pop-ups. So that's what we're looking at doing it now, just to give you guys a last warning to make sure that you don't click through there. If you guys have any other questions, please feel free to swing by my office. Like I said, this is one of the main projects that I'm working on because I understand the frustration from the teller side. So I want this to work as smoothly as possible for you guys. All right? Thank you.